Record on this. Here we go.
Awesome.
Welcome, welcome, Shaazaam, Mr. Shama, Pierre. That is such an interesting name. It doesn't sound Haitian at all. How did your parents come up with this name?
Well, Shaazaam is actually just like a nickname, and I kind of made it my host name. Yeah, so Shama Pierre is my actual name.
Even Shama alone is different. It's not the typical Jean Richardson, or
it's definitely different. It's definitely different. And it took a while to kind of understand what like the origins of it, but it's biblical. It's one of the Jehovah names. So Jehovah Shama is the full name, and Shama means always with you. So in translation, it means God is always with you.
Wow, this is awesome. See, there's something about the names. There's something about the names. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
You are a man of God.
Amen.
I wanted to welcome you. Do you know you are the first man that comes talk to Coach Irma?
Really? I'm honored. Well, hopefully I will not be the last. Hopefully this, opens doors.
Yeah, we're gonna open it up for men, because even in our queenness, we need our kings to be right. And
that's right.
That's why, it was interesting. What brings up this show about, it's because a few years ago, maybe even a year ago, I saw on Facebook you post something about how men are hurting in our community. And I believe you said you were going to do something, a focus group of some sort. And I'm like, wow, this is really awesome. Now, let me wind it back up, because right here, because your business is you're such a happy, high energy man. I think that's why it struck me, because I didn't expect that from you. Mm-hmm. But again, it was so beautiful to see how you put it, and see how you didn't apologize to show up with that, because you know how difficult it is for men to talk about their emotion. Yeah. So let me go ahead and formally introduce you to the public. Mr. Shama, Shaazaam, Pierre. You guys put your Instagram as contact information. Here it is, people. He's a professional MC, host, event producer, and entrepreneur. He has had the pleasure of spreading joy, laughter, and excitement to his clients and their guests. Outside of hosting, he's a part of many Black business owned. He managed them, he owns some, and in the hopes of creating a better sense of community for our future. I don't know if you know, I love you all around, because every time I see you, you put a smile on my face. It's like, wow, what a guy. Thank you. When you enter, the energy is so palpable. When you enter a room, you don't even have to do what you do. Just you can stand right there and there's something coming out of you, because that's friendly, that's open, and you don't find that often in life. So kudos to you. I honor you today. I honor every man that we are going to touch with this interview today.
Thank you.
Having said that, you have been going around the country, literally, spreading this joy, spreading compa, which is you are a dance instructor. You teach compa, which is the Haitian a Haitian dance, one of them. And you let me go back. You basically just putting it out there, because I feel like the people from my age, my generation, um, we've gone around compa for quite some time, whether it's good, right, the right way or not.
Right.
We've managed, we have fun with it.
Right.
But I think the people you are touching right now are this generation, because I have a niece who said to me, "Oh, I know him. He came to my school in Brooklyn, New York."
Oh
So
yeah.
that's OC, Oceana no. This is a unsung hero that's coming up. I need to stop talking to
Wow.
young people.
Wow. Yeah, I was just there in
Yes, she
April.
told me she's the president of the Haitian Society at St. John University. She just graduated. Um,
Okay.
so when she said that, I said, this is the generation that is touching right now, teaching them how to do it and moving the culture forward.
Right.
Kudos to you. Kudos to you. I'm so proud of my young lady, OC. I told her I wanted to interview her on a professional level as well. Um, so I'm happy that it's such a small world that
Yeah, it
you
really
had
is.
the
That's a
opportunity,
surprise.
yeah, to work with someone that you don't even know we are related. That's my
Yeah.
niece.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
our primary goal today is to help remove the stigma and normalize mental health for men as well, because women, we take our mental health, we try to go to the nail salon on a regular, all these massages we get, it's no secret that we do take some time to take care of ourselves. So let me stop sharing so we can talk to each other now.
Okay.
So having said that, um let me see, where was I? Do you see the screen? No, you
Mm-mm.
just see me.
Yeah.
Just me and you. Okay. So why do you think it is so difficult for men to express their emotion?
Well, in my opinion and from my experience, I feel as though like for men, it's hard for them to express their emotions because we're not taught that at a young age. We aren't brought up in the fashion or the to develop the skills necessary to express our emotions correctly, or are taught to stuff them, to ignore them, to disregard them, um, because that's not what men do. We don't get emotional. We don't allow our emotions to you know to flow. And a lot of men, that has been carried on generation to generation to generation, and a lot of men are suffering very much from it, which is ironic because men, we are very emotional creatures. It's like we are actually very emotional, and it's like essentially turning on a faucet and then putting your hand to try to stop the faucet from flowing. It's just going to cause pressure and problems. The faucet is going to flow. Your emotions are going to flow. And if you try your best to stop the natural order of the flow, then it will cause problems and manifestations in different areas. So you'll see yourself being much angrier than before, and you're not realizing where it's coming from. And a lot of like men, they'll have a reaction, or they'll have an outburst of one emotion, not knowing that it's stemmed and morphed from a different emotion. A lot of men don't know that anger also stems from sadness. And so you could be sad about something and then it will manifest later on with anger. And people only see the anger because you're outbursting, and you try to keep the sadness private and away, so they don't understand what's going on.
Wow.
And because we are not used to flowing well, we don't even know how to communicate. what we're actually feeling, because we're not feeling them. We're trying not to feel them, at least. Yeah.
Wow, that's a good way of describing this emotion. Yes, it is going to flow. Yes, it's gonna go show up in every way possible. So it's great to have a male perspective on this, um, because I never really thought about that way. When you see
Yeah.
people are angry, you think it's anger. They have, but it is because they don't know how to channel the sadness that they're feeling, and that's
Could be
interesting.
anxiety. It can be, fear. It's a lot of base emotions that can transfer over into something else if not properly processed and checked.
That's interesting. That's really, really interesting to hear. So where do you think this comes from? Because, well, let's talk about how parents and our community, especially, um, I'm guilty of it. I have two boys. They usually make fun and say, my mom don't allow people to whine too much. I don't allow them. I didn't Growing up, you hear a man has to be a man. You have to stand up straight. You need to be strong. You need to be tough. Um, so I would tell my children, men up. Mommy, I don't feel good. I don't feel. First of all, we have responsibilities. I don't feel good today. I said, if it's a sniffle, you can go to school. It's good and bad to teach them to be strong and push through sometimes. But I think to some of them, they internalize it so much so that they don't even bring it to you anymore. They're just like, I'm supposed to be a man. And um, my husband often makes comments when people says, my son is the man of the house. That's a big responsibility, he says, to give to a child. A child shouldn't be the man of the house. So what was your upbringing as far as your parents telling
Well,
you how to be a man?
well, it's very similar. I think that amongst the society's culture plays a huge part. And in the Haitian culture, talking about feelings is not something that Haitians do, even as women and men, and definitely men. For sure for the men. A little background about me: I'm like the firstborn boy in my generation, and I was the only boy for a long time. So family full of girls, and that pressure was it was magnified. A lot of different things that I it was instilled into me, as far as, of course, manning up. Oh, you're the man in this situation. Like, you got to protect, you got to this and the third. And then, of course, putting, as because being the firstborn boy and the only boy for quite a while, it was like, oh, you got to carry the family name, and this I was like, all right, all right, all right. So it did give a lot of pressure on me, and sometimes, and that's why they say, as adults, we have to be careful what our words and how we interact with children, because for us, we know the full scope of meaning and nuance and all of that. But when we tell kids certain things, it becomes law to them, like, and that, just like you said it, they internalize it. Like, I'm the man of the house, like, and they're holding on to that pressure forever until it's explained to them that they can let it go. So you're talking about, and of course, with repetition, it cement you cement that ideology into them. So you telling them over and over, and then they're the man in the house. You got to man up. You got to man up. Then that's what they take into life. And which is like, just like you said earlier, it's you want to strengthen them, right? But you also don't want to disregard them in, feeling their emotions. And that's one of those things that, changing your verbiage and your take on things is important. Like, for instance, an ideology that I've more so gotten into, which, would be better off being taught to younger, is like, you have X amount of time to complain and this, that, and the third. And then after, you have to figure things out. You find a solution. So you have X amount of time. For me, it's like I'm an adult, right? So it's 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes to let it out, scream, moan, like all of that. But then after that, the problem is still the problem. You can't waste a week complaining about the problem. You have to find a solution now. You have to, as you say, man up and get to work. So I think you can still do that with kids, but we do have to give them the ability to process their emotions. And I think even more importantly, we have to get them into the mindset of asking questions internally. And so we have to ask them questions like, why are you crying? Where did this come from? Why do you feel this way? Did you think that it could have been avoided? Like certain things to help them get into the habit of working through their emotions, so that you can still flow through your emotions and still man up at the same time.
One thing for sure, I I hope that's what I'm seeing, an improvement from the way my parents parented to the way our parents. And I think it's gonna even get better with the future generation.
Yeah.
Hopefully, um, we'll get to a place where we're not continually, generation after generation after generation, continue to cause trauma
Yeah.
on these kids for them to carry on with all these baggage that us parents put on them. Some of them is, believe it or not, it's out of love.
Yeah.
You want to prepare them, you want to make them tough for the world because you know what the world entails. But
Yeah.
in the process, there's a way to do it as well.
Right.
I remember Haitian children were not allowed to throw a fit. And I
Yeah.
see kids, when I came to America, I was, wow. I
Yeah.
see kids just on the floor, yelling, screaming, calling their parents' name. That was foreign to me because
You're at a supermarket and Johnny over there is tripping, and you're like, he's not getting beat. You need to beat
yes,
him. What's going on? I didn't get beat for that. Why he not getting beat? It
exactly.
was it was much of a culture shock.
Mhm.
Yeah. It
So
definitely was. It was different.
were you born here or you were born in Haiti?
I
Are
was
we
born in Haiti. However, so like when I came from Haiti, I still remember bits and pieces, but I lived in New York for quite a while, and then from New York I moved to Philadelphia.
How old did you say you came in?
I came when I was 3.
Okay. Yeah, you know nothing about Haiti, basically.
No, nah, not really.
Have you
From
visited?
not yet. I haven't visited yet.
This is Haiti behind me
Every
right now.
time it seems as though, oh, okay, that makes sense. And that's why it's beautiful.
Beautiful
Um,
blue water,
yeah,
palm tree. I mean, and they give Jamaica the big hype of the
yeah,
beautiful island, but Haiti,
it's just as much.
let's not even talk about Haiti right now.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Let me show the public. I'm going to share my screen again to show the public what you do, how happy this guy can get. Oh, I should have opened my. Let's see, which one should I call? Should I pull first? Since we're talking about men, let's do the men. How you were showing the brother.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that's something that I try to do a lot of. I'm blessed that God has given me the opportunity to do so many different things, and in doing these many things, um, you should always understand what God is teaching you in every season. It's very human nature for us to um, go through certain things and be upset or be annoyed, angry, anxiety filled. But a lot of times God puts you through a lesson, and you got to realize what the lesson is to properly understand what you're going through. And in doing that, there's a lot of perspective that I've been able to kind of like attain. And in that perspective, I realized, and there's some reason why I've started to become more vulnerable about my mental health and vulnerable about the things that I go through. Is because there's a lot of people who are going through these things, and because we're in a society right now that likes to glorify just the ups and not talk about the downs, everyone feels as though that their down isn't worth talking about or isn't worth bringing up, and is to be hidden. And so even when it comes to teaching, I put myself in the shoes of the person that I'm teaching. There was a point in time where I wasn't as good and I had to learn. And the last thing I want to do is put someone in a position where they feel uncomfortable or intimidated. I want to make sure that I remember each and every time when I teach, I remember when I was at this level. And so I teach in a way as though how I would like to have been taught and how I would have liked to have been guided to be able to learn more and to be able to dance freely. And so that's why with my teaching, I bring a level of gentleness and level of understanding, and patience, heavy on the patience, because it's not going to happen in a day. Like, but if you take the first step, no pun intended, it'll get better. And that's really what I try to do. I try to like light the fire of taking that first step, because I believe people, when they start dancing compa, they will fall in love with it and they will continue on their own. And then once you continue on your own, you start to find the love for it. Practicing and getting better becomes like breathing, very natural.
It is. Music, dancing is so good for mental health. People don't
Yeah.
realize. And if you can, I've seen a quote on Facebook that says, if you can dance in public and don't care what people think or if people are looking, you are okay in your skin. And I truly believe that's true. When the music starts playing, it does something in your psyche. My
Absolutely.
husband, yeah, yeah. My husband is American. There are times when I feel stressed and upset, and in his own way, that where he doesn't know how to help me, he would put some music, some compa, um, and automatically. And mind you, I've always loved music, but when he does it, I can see my mood goes from upset, angry, sad to downright joy.
Right.
So that you healing people with what you do. I don't know if you realize that, but this is big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. To see a man come to you and say, show me how to whine. I'm sure that's how it started. And you took the time and show him and make him feel good. And you can do this, my brother, you hug him.
Mhm.
We need more of that. We need
Yeah.
a place where people don't, a safe place for people to come and get a hug if they need one.
Yeah. And I think that's where growth begins. Growth begins in the step of vulnerability, but everyone is scared to put themselves out there, and everyone's scared to take that step of vulnerability for fear of rejection, for fear of misunderstanding, or for fear of judgment. And so that's why we're where we are. With everyone else has the ideology of like mental health is whatever. And if you're really hurting and you need to talk, and all these people are telling you like, it's just man up, just suck it up. You're not going to be vulnerable to tell them like, hey, I'm sad. They're gonna tell you something that is gonna, make you even more sad, and you don't want that. So people tend to stay to themselves. So in times like that, when someone does take the time to be vulnerable, whether within, their feelings or, they're and just helping them how to dance, that shouldn't be taken lightly. It should be met with as swift importance and with love and care and gentleness.
Now, I'm going to share my screen because I have some stats on men's mental health. When my job, I work for mental health administration in my county. And so when I saw the stats, how mental health affect men, it's mind blowing. Let's see if we can share that screen to show everybody. Can you see my screen? Not yet.
Right now.
Let's see. Here we go. Mental health and men. Can you believe 1 in 5 people experience mental illness in the year? Men of color
I think
are at the greater risk.
I think that number is higher now.
Interesting.
Actually, I definitely think, yeah, it's definitely, especially
Okay.
with all the different changes and just developments, inflation, the job market, rents, the rent, the gas price. There's so many things that have increased people's stress levels, and so if certain people haven't garnered the ability to properly, take care of their mental health, they are falling apart at the seams. Yeah.
I can imagine. I can imagine. They say that men are less likely than women to seek help for stressful life events, substance abuse, and depression due to, what do you think? Why they first of all, let's talk about therapy or seeking help, seeking professional help. When is it time for you to get out with the brothers and really talk? When is it time that we seek professional help for our mental health?
When your normal routines seem like hard work for you. If getting out of bed, if taking a shower, going to work, responding to people as far as professionally or personally, if your normal life is being affected, whereas though it seems like it's a weight for you to be able to just be, then you should be looking for professional help. And even, I would say professional help. But sometimes, even if it has to be baby steps, whereas though you just need to call that one friend or reach out to somebody that understands how to properly speak to you in these situations. But aside from that, yes, definitely getting professional help.
A lot of men, when even with their marriage, you will hear a woman say to a man, I don't like the way our marriage is going. I think we need professional help. 9 times out of 10, the men would say, I don't need help, you do. 9 times out of 10. So there's something and we already know there's a stigma with mental health, period, for everybody. And we talked about how much more it is for men. The social norms, we talk about the masculinity, how we were raised, how we raised those men to be, downplaying symptoms like men up and, oh, you can go through this, you can be whining. So you said it well, when the disconnection, when you cannot get up to go to take a shower, when you don't feel worthy and you don't feel valued. Talk to someone before it gets bad. And I don't know if for you guys now, when you go to the doctor, I know my doctor, when I go for my yearly checkup, they do a mental health evaluation, a mental health checkup. It needs to be incorporated in our health planning, healthcare, to do these things, because look at the numbers for suicide with the different age group.
Yeah.
Rates for male and females by age. The red one is the male.
Yeah. It's It's
But
really,
sad.
yeah.
It's sad. 10 to 14 people, 10 to 14-year-old kids are killing themselves. Now, you can add LGBTQ to it, you can add a whole bunch of stuff into it, but this is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I've had people that I've known this year that have committed suicide. Um, it's and it's one of those things where it's like, how many times are we going to say we got to do better until we start doing better? And doing better doesn't necessarily mean you have to make an organization or you have to do a walk or anything like that, because that's not where the real work is needed, right? We can do a walk to acknowledge something, but that's not where the work is needed. The walk is fine and dandy, but the work is needed when said person is going through a tough time and you know your friend, you know when they're off and you disregarded it. Like, yo, you okay? No, like, what's up? What's going on? Like that next thing. No, you know, what's up? What's going on? Let's talk about it. People don't realize how powerful venting can be. Like if we talk about the science of venting, if there is a boiler and it has vents to let out steam so that it doesn't explode. Steam will cause pressure and pressure will cause it to explode. So they have vents allowing the steam to release the pressure so that the boiler can keep doing what it needs to do, providing energy. Venting itself, from humans' point of view, is just allowing me to get off my frustration, to get off my anxiety and sadness or whatever my emotional state is. And venting can't happen to just anybody. It has to happen to people that you trust. And so being able to recognize when somebody just needs to vent can stop the snowball effect of the bad thoughts that unfortunately end into this result where they become another statistic on the suicide rate. And that's where like that's where I come in, where we got to be more vulnerable and open and to being gentle with people. That's where the real work happens on a day to day, where it's just like, hey, what's going on? What's really going on? And challenging people to not just brush it off. A lot of people who are in contact with me, a lot of my friends, they know like I'm the annoying person that won't let you just brush it off because it's important. A lot of times people are frustrated with each other and it's like, yeah, you gotta have a conversation. Like I know it's difficult and it's annoying, but you gotta have a conversation. You can't just brush it off or ignore them. The person exists in life, so you're gonna run into them again. So go through it, process it, so you can have a better mental space.
That's important. Um, Women, we love to talk. We
Mhm.
talk and talk and talk. We talk to our girlfriends, we talk about our men, we talk about, and sometimes I think that's what saves our lives.
Yeah,
Oprah Winfrey once said, if you have a friend like Gail, that's your therapy. You don't need therapy. Um, I have my sister-in-law that I talk to. I have numerous friends. My sister-in-law is the closest here now, but I have friends that I can call on the phone and let them know that something is bothering me and it hurts like hell. And
yeah,
I don't feel like I can be in judgment, because some people would say, well, why do you feel that way? Well, why did you do this? When we are human, we make mistakes.
yeah.
If you did something wrong, you did something wrong. And you have to be able to have somebody says, okay, you did that wrong. You wrong for doing it.
Right.
But I love you anyway.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love you despite your flaws.
Yeah,
So venting does that for women. We are able to communicate, and you're right, but with the right person, because some people would judge.
Mm-hmm.
Some people would, who knows you well enough, would know.
Yeah.
You know, that's not you. Why did you do that? Or not even why, they just listen. Sometimes you need someone to just listen to what you're going through.
Yeah.
And then after you get it out, you feel better.
Yeah, you will.
Mm-hmm.
And now
So,
think about how many people are just holding on. Like, think about how do you feel from that first initial frustration and how it's pent up, and then when you finally vent, you feel free. Now think about, what if someone never vents ever? They just
the pressure
next
cooker
thing
right there.
next thing happens, next thing happens, and at some point they just explode. And that's really what it is. They don't have places to vent. Um, and like I said earlier, what my perspective on life has been changing a lot. And then you, as a host, I'm constantly reading the room, reading people, and you start to realize where, like, you're not okay. You're faking it. Like, you're faking like you're okay, because now I know what real joy looks like. I create it.
Mhm.
I instill it. And so I've also been on the side of being depressed and faking what joy looks like. So I can tell when someone is faking it very clearly. I've done it myself, and I know what it looks like. So now you start to realize, wow, there's a lot of people, especially in the healing process too, right? When you go through your own mental healing, you start to really notice when people who are in their stage ones and stage twos, and they're like, wow, we need to do something about this. And one of those things is just like being open to people so they understand it's okay to be open. Like, I've been blessed with the type of guys that I have around me. Like, one of my long-standing best friends, his name is Kersley. Like, we're about, like, going on 14 years out of high school now. And, like, closer to the end of high school, we made that conscious decision to, like, let's not just be bros, let's be brothers. And what that comes with is, like, yeah, if I'm wrong on something and I need to vent it out, I might be frustrated about the situation. But if I was wrong too, it's gonna tell me, like, all right, but you're wrong.
You
Like,
were
you're
wrong.
wrong here. I see where you're coming from, but you're wrong. Like, we've built up that friendship where we vent to each other, we let out our frustrations, we talk about our sadness, we talk about our anxiety. Like, I think last week he randomly texted me, he was just like, yo, I am so overwhelmed. Just random. I haven't talked to him 3 weeks. Randomly text me, I am so overwhelmed. And at that time, I was too. Not texting back, me too. And just that feeling of connection. You're not the only person that's going through certain things. Makes you feel better. It makes you feel like you're not alone. And I think there's so many people who feel like they are alone. And that's something that can be easily fixed. I'm not gonna say easily, but it can be
Can
fixed.
be fixed. It can be fixed. To hear that 60 in 60, look at that number back here. Every 60 minutes, we lose 60 men to suicide.
Yeah.
There's enough help out there now. There's enough. We need to do better. We need to open up. I don't know. Some men act like it hurts for them to even talk. So I don't know how to help you if I don't know what's going on with you. Um, Bottom line is, you need to find somebody you can trust to talk to. There's plenty of help. Let me stop sharing out there for people to get the help that they need. They have free therapy now, especially after COVID.
Yeah.
COVID did a number on our psyche and our mental health. It's horrible. It's horrible. Let me give them another dose of what you do, because um, we just talk about some heavy stuff right now. To see you Let me see, where would I go?
And the crazy thing is like COVID, it was heavy with the mental health, but COVID for me was a training period. I trained a lot over my mental health, and there's a lot of things that I learned that I put into practice during COVID. So mentally, like going through COVID actually helped a lot with, my strength and my mental health.
Isolate people, and you have to deal with whatever you're dealing with on a bigger, more constant. There's no going out to
Yeah. Yeah, you can't
so
ignore it. You can't substitute it for
in your
work or
face.
yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's see. Let's see this high energy. You so laid back today. Let's see.
You gotta have good duality.
Yes. Here we go.
You might also have to add in the sound too. They might not be able to hear it.
Look at these kids.
Is it playing? I can't see it.
You can't?
Mm-mm. I only see the folder.
Oh, you only saw the folder. Does that mean I wasn't sharing?
You were sharing, but I saw the folder. I didn't see the what's that thing called? I didn't see the video though.
The video. I hope everybody saw it. Did you see the previous one?
Mm-mm. I thought we were just talking about it.
Oh, no, I
Where
was
does it pop
playing
up? Where does it pop up for you? Like the on the
pop up
folder?
on my screen. Yeah.
Maybe.
I hope people are seeing it because it's really it's awesome. So you just hear them, you don't see it, huh?
No, I didn't hear it at all either.
Really?
So when you share, Zoom is a little tricky like that. So when you share your screen, if you're playing a video, um, at the top you got to go and access the share your sound too, so that both parties can hear your sound.
Let me see. Let me see if I
So
do
at the
that.
top. All right, cool. Now I can see the video.
Okay.
And so at the top you should see options, and then you should scroll down. It should say share your sound.
I have share your sound. Oh, it would be a shame if nobody else saw it.
Yeah, I can see it now.
You can see it now. Let me see if I can play it now. You see it?
I see it.
No?
Yeah, I see it. I see it. Sometimes I forget that's me.
Very high energy, very um okay, let's see if I can find the other video that I showed you showing this young man how to whine. Let's see if we see that one because it wasn't.
Yeah, now it's popping up. It's a really fun class too.
So to be so it's so much fun. I want to do your job, but I don't have the skills, the skill sets to do your job.
It definitely
Um,
is. It definitely is fun.
it's a lot of fun. A lot of people say they need a job where they don't feel like they're working every day. So I think you have that job.
It is. Don't get me wrong though. It is definitely, it's like I said before, there's a lot of things now. There's definitely extra work needed to do all of that. And of course, so just like you mentioned before, like I'm very mellow right now. There's highs and lows to everything. You know, with extreme energy needs to have extreme calmness too. There's a time for everything. So the execution of what I do is tremendously fun, and it's enjoyable, and seeing, you know, the impact of people's faces and people's moods is amazing. But also with that comes the planning towards it, you know, and that's something that I don't necessarily show all the time, which is not that as, you know, something that can be shown, you know, but planning and getting everything together to make sure that everything runs smooth and whatever event or whatever hosting opportunity that I have is something that I do very much on a consistent level. And, you know, that's not really shown, but it is definitely work.
Yeah, we have some people on Facebook that are watching. If they have questions, you guys can tap your questions. I have to remember to come back and look. We have Nava that says many cases, there are reported cases, many don't report. So we're not
Yeah.
really having the right numbers for sure
Yeah.
of, go ahead.
No, I agree. I agree. Just like you said with the 1 out of 5, like I think that's just, you know, from what is probably reported. But I'll tell you firsthand with, you know, seeing everything and being tapped into your community and the plights of what's going on with people is definitely more. I know in the last week and a half, a lot of people have been going through a lot of things, and it's definitely more than that.
Let me share something with you, which I thought was interesting. Not too long ago, I did
Hmm.
a personal research at the mall.
Hmm.
You know what? It's not, I didn't just do that one time. I've done it several times, um, where I would sit in a corner at the mall and
Hmm.
watch people go by back and forth, back and forth. I'm so fascinated with people's behavior. It's amazing. I should have been a psychiatrist.
No,
um,
same.
so I watch couples, white couples, 10 to 1, white couples, black couples, they walk around. The white couples will be holding hands. The black couples, the man is either behind or up front. The one that's up front is because he needs something. I don't want to read into much to it, but usually the wife is lagging behind. There's no hand holding. So it's one thing when a man is dealing with their own emotion, and women tend to internalize these things and make it your fault. Why can't you hold my hand? Why can't you show affection? What can't you? And it has really nothing to do with you. It's the way the person, the upbringing of this culture, it's killing us, because there's no reason why we cannot go to our loved one and says, I need a hug. Everybody needs somebody to hold on to them. I don't care who you are, unless you're not human, you don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Agree.
so why do you think men they feel so macho, they cannot display affection, some even in the privacy of their home?
Yeah.
I hear women says, oh, the men only come to me when it's ready, when it's nighttime, it's ready for sex time. And we don't operate like that. That's not how love making to us works all day long, every day.
Yeah.
All day, the touching, the loving text, the checking on you, and everybody wants to feel valued. And another thing that I think makes it hard for men, and I'm guilty of it, I would say I'm not the chaser.
Yeah.
I wasn't trained to chase a man. A
Yeah.
man is supposed to hug me, but it needs to go, it's both ways. So what is your take on that? That's beginning of the healing piece, because if you cannot connect with your wife, your girlfriends. Who else can you connect with?
Yeah. I think that, kind of what we alluded to earlier is just, the upbringing. Um, it plays a huge part. Kind of like what you're saying too, as I've gone through my mental health journey and my healing process, I realized a lot of things about the human mind and how we work and operate and our tendencies. And we're very habitual creatures. Like we have certain habits to the T that we could be categorized. That's how much we as humans recycle the same habits. And so one of the things that is very habitual for men, as we grow up, we're not we're not hugged as much. We're not, kissed as much. Yeah, when we were young, but as we start to grow, those things start to wane. And even if it's not a hug or a kiss, words of affirmation and certain things. Um, and I can only I can speak for myself, but also seeing other peers and friends, and as we were growing up, there's a lot of things we're expected to do, right? Like we're expected to excel in this, that, and third, so that we can become the man of the house, so we can become the provider. So our trajectory in life is kind of like just bombarded at us over and over again. So once you start to hit puberty and your voice starting to change and you're starting to get facial hair, and now you're expected to be that man that they were telling you to see. Like now you're seeing the physical manifestation of you becoming a man. And now that pressure starts to hit even more. And if you're, like we said before, not venting, you're not, um, you're you're not being consoled, you're not getting affection in certain ways, you really become a hard shell, a hollow hard shell of focus. And I think you asked the question earlier too, like why do men, when it comes to, let's go get help or let's go get therapy, we are been told that we're the head and we're supposed to have the answers, we're supposed to lead. We don't feel it doesn't feel good to feel inadequate. And when you tell a man that let's go to therapy, we need help, you're telling them you're not adequately leading, or that's what we hear, even if you say it in any type of
But if you
way.
say
And
we need to get help.
yeah, yeah, then they're gonna say you, right? They're gonna say you need to get help. I'm good because me needing help means that I'm incapable in some place, and I don't want to feel incapable anywhere. No man wants to feel incapable. Um, but being incapable of anything is a part of life. You don't come out of the womb knowing how to ride a bike. At some point, you were incapable of riding a bike and you made mistakes until you got it right. No one ever, and these are things that, I'm learning as an entrepreneur. No one ever wants to be bad at something, but you got to be bad at it to get good at it. And
Be willing to
having
work at it.
yeah, essentially, and having the, the intelligence and the self-awareness, that's the word I'm looking for. Having the self-awareness to know, like, hey, this shouldn't be this hard, or this shouldn't be this way. We should be better off. If she's telling me she's not happy, um, and I've done everything that I could and it's not working, then maybe something else needs to happen so you don't lose that person.
A lot of marriages are broken because, especially if we open the floor and says we need help, um, and no, you can't work on a relationship by yourself. If
Yeah,
all that we've been doing so far bring us to we come to a wall, we don't know how to
yeah,
communicate anymore, we don't know what to do anymore, somebody else needs to be able to help us.
right.
But it takes two people that's going to want to the help to move forward to a better relationship. um I don't know. Michelle Obama caught a lot of flack for saying that for 10 years in her marriage, she didn't like Barack Obama. Somebody who's married, I could relate to that. There are times where you're not going to like your partner.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean I don't love you.
Right.
Some people, like she did, I think she said she got professional help. They went to counseling. However, some people don't have that luxury to go to counseling. And yet still push through and get to the other side of that period.
Mm-hmm.
If you can hold on, this is why it's important to celebrate every milestone, because when two people gets together, two broken people, not men, we are broken in our own way, men are broken in their own way. We're gonna hurt each other at one point. If you have a relationship with someone and it's not a surface relationship, there's going to be conflicts. I think some people are afraid of conflict. They think that's the problem.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of people who they stray away from conflict or confrontation itself. Like they don't like confrontation because it doesn't feel good. We as humans always choose the path of least resistance. We always choose it. But it's stronger, right? The gym doesn't feel good, but if you want the muscles and you want to look good and stay healthy, you have to go through the resistance of it, the weights, the pressure, and all of this. It is very similar to your emotion and how you deal with friendship and relationships. I think that also a lot of people, they see emotion as like a singular line, and that is false. Like emotion is such of a spectrum. It's a web. It's not a straight line. It's like, oh, you angry means this or sadness means that. No, it can fluctuate in so many different ways. Yes, I can love someone and not like them. We have family members. Like, come on, guys. There's
I
many
love
times
you,
where
but I
I love my
can't.
sister and I would never want anything bad to happen to her, but I don't like you right now. Get out of my face and get out of my room. Why are you here? It's very possible to have two emotions. You can be happy about one thing and sad about another. You can be happy that my friend got into college, but I'm sad that they're going away. It's
Life is a pile up of yin and yang, good and bad. If we can
yeah,
manage through them and be supportive to each other, I think that's half of the battle, to build this healthy relationship.
right.
We all have to be mindful not to minimize people's feelings. Some people takes everything so literal.
Mhm.
You can think you're joking with someone. For example, who raised you? I'm thinking this is a joke, but the person will take offense. And once you realize that you need to, okay,
You're triggering people.
whatever it is, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant to. Allow people grace to make mistake. Oh my God.
Not everybody's upbringing was the same. So something that could be a joke to you can be very traumatic to somebody else. And
Somebody else.
gotta be able to like understand, like, yo, that wasn't funny to them. So like just back off. It's understanding so many, like we said, so many different paths and so many different ways people can feel in so many different ways. This one thing can trigger someone in a different way, whereas that one thing to you wasn't a big deal. And we got to be able to learn how to navigate through that.
We need to give people grace. We need to give people forgiveness. And forgiveness doesn't mean that, because if I make a mistake, I would like to know that you will forgive me. So we need to open ourselves up and forgive each other on that note. We have a question on Facebook from Dr. Joanne. You have to know failure to know success. That is poignant. This is good. Some people think during the hard time, I think you touch on it, we're failing, we're not communicating, we're not, and you quit. Meanwhile, what we needed to do instead of quitting is to work to move forward and not allow our relationship to fail and fall through.
A lot of people, they have the misconception that you're gonna stay the same, or you can stay the same throughout life. Whether it be entrepreneurship, whether it be friendship or relationship, like every 7 years you become a different person. So like you can't go through things and not adapt and change. So yeah, they're gonna fail a lot because you went this direction. But now that you failed in that direction, you now need to pivot and see where can I change so it can work. What variables need to be adjusted so things can work. And that's how it should. You should always go into the aspect of life. Like for instance, something that I do personally is that it usually starts like the top of November, it becomes heavier mid-November, and then like full force December. And basically what I mean by that is that I go into a proportion where I start reflecting on the year. And then I compare my year as far as entrepreneurship, what I've done, how I've impacted the community, what have I done throughout this year, and I compare it to what I've done last year and see in which ways can I have done better, what's ways where I didn't do as good, and then compare it to the last year. Do I think as though I've grown and done better than I was last year? If the answer is yes, this was a good year, regardless if I had failures, regardless if I had wins. If there was growth seen within this year compared to last year, this was a good year. If there was stagnant or no growth, then I gotta do better. I gotta adjust some things and make sure that I go into this next year and completely wipe this last year from the memory because of such a good year I'm about to have. And it helps a little bit, especially with the social media now, whereas though you constantly comparing yourself to other people, whereas just like people's journeys and how they've gone through life is completely different. And also you don't know the full scope of the story. You're only being showed the trailer. Like you don't know what else they're going through, what else they had to overcome to reach wherever they are. So the only thing you should really do is try to beat the you that was yesterday. And that's the best way you can go about it.
Try to be a better you than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Ketley says, how should women phrase things for men not to feel inadequate? That's a very, very good question.
I think that you definitely should come with a sense of gentleness. Um, n- no one becomes vulnerable from aggressive approach. Like you're not gonna always like, well, I'm feeling sad. If someone's coming at you aggressively, so also always come from a sense of love and gentleness. But also, this is very important for women too, because women don't take rejection well. Like this is fact. Let's not debate that. Also come into the approach with a sense of he might not go for it, because if you come into the conversation or the approach with a sense of type of entitlement, like I'm gonna reach out to you, so that means you have to open up to me, then you're going to be disappointed and you're just going to cause frustration on your end. So first thing, be gentle. Second thing, understand that you're reaching out, but it might not be met with the outcome of him opening up that time. But the third thing, which is also very important, if you really care about whatever person that you're reaching out to or approaching, repetition. Repetition is very important, because if you see that someone is going through something and um it seems like they need to talk or they need to open up, don't just try one time. Keep trying, because you got to understand, if let's say this person's 21, relatively about 5 years they were cool. So out of that 5 years, that's about like what, 16 years. 16 years of them closing in, closing in, closing in, a repetition. Man up, man up. You shouldn't be feeling it. We don't talk about our feelings. So if you think that out of 16 years of them closing in, that one time you ask them to open up, they're gonna open up. You gotta meet repetition with repetition. Like, hey, like Darius, like I see you're going through something. Like you need to talk. It's like, oh, okay, all right. Well, I'm just here. Just understand. If you ever want to open up, I'm here for you. Hey, Darius, what's going on? How's everything? Look, you seem kind of down. Remember, I'm here. I'm here. If you want to talk, all right? I'm serious about that. I don't mean just say I'm serious. All right, man. Well, have a good day. Yo, Darius, what's going on? What's going on? How's everything going? Bro, you still seem down, man. Like, yo, let's go play ball, or let's go have a drink, or let's go get something to eat. Let's really talk. I'm serious. You good? All right. Well, look, listen, I'm here. Don't you ever forget that. Like, make it known to them over and over and over again. Because men, we're hard headed. You gotta make it known over and over again. Like, I'm here, and I'm always gonna be here, and it's gonna happen. And it might not. Sometimes it might be, a big thing, or sometimes it might be just like, yo, I can't do this anymore. It's tough. Like, things are just not going my way. And don't get too excited. Also, ladies, if he gives you an inch, just take the inch. Right. Don't just start talking like, so how was your relationship with your mom? Like, don't just try to go too deep. If he gives you an inch,
Psychoanalysis.
take the win, and just work on what he just talked about. Right. Stay focused on the topic at hand. All right. This is not brunch where you're talking about everything and everything with the ladies. Like, this is somebody that is sprouting. You got to think about it like a seed, right? Somebody is sprouting.
Wow.
And if they're sprouting, you're not about to dump more fertilizer on them and then put more water. No, you understand it, and just you tend to them little by little so they can flourish. Okay. And I hope that helped.
I I hope it does. I think for me, when you allow anger to blind you, or when you reach out several times and you don't get anything, it's almost like, I cannot help you to help me help you. Very impatient. We need to work on ourselves, really. Patient is key.
Patience, right?
Um, I don't know.
Because, like, just like what I said, though, 16 years. Do you think that 16 years is gonna be unraveled in a month?
And you know what's funny? We're looking at this generation, the generation before the 16 years, that's 50, 60 years.
Think about all of that ideology dumped onto the 16 years.
A lot.
And that 50 years was dumped 50, 60 years before that. So why do we think that we're gonna just, like, now let's compound? That's 116, 120 years. It's not gonna be unraveled in 6 months. So yeah, it comes with a level of patience too.
Dr. Joanne says something. The person may not know how to help them help me, help you, help them help you. Very important to keep them engaged. At the same time, I agree with all of that. There's got to be a sense of responsibility for your well-being. Yes, the damage was done and probably continues to go on. Black men especially are faced with life on a whole different level. The criminality that's attached to a Black man, the way you're being treated when you get into an elevator, the way If you're walking in the mall parking lot, they might think you out there to steal a car. All that piles up on top of everything normal that everybody else deals with. So knowing all that we know today, we have got to put the responsibility on Black men to get themselves healed. Because the wife can do it. Most of the time we feel hopeless. The girlfriend can do it. Nobody else can really, we can be supportive. We can be, if there's not a room, if there's no room for you don't see any change, you don't see any for years, and these same things keep repeating and you keep trying to be supportive, it wears on the person as well. It wears on the supporter that's trying to support you. If they don't do anything else, they need to take responsibility for their mental health, for their well-being, body and soul.
For sure. I definitely agree.
Yeah, they have, there's enough information here. Insurance, I have what's called the EAP that most organizations are providing this help. Even if your children are adult, they're not under your, anybody that's affecting your mental health, your parents, your grown, your adult children, somebody's niece that you took on that's turning to be a problem, somebody's child, anybody, they don't even need to be on your benefit. You can get mental help with them. You can get mental help for them. So there's a lot of stuff out there. The counties, go to the websites of the counties and get the help that you need. There are people that offers some free stuff, free therapies. If you don't, if you want to, I spoke to a, she's not a psychiatrist, she was a coach, she was a therapist professionally a few weeks ago, last month really. What she said is, just because you try one person, one therapist, doesn't mean you're gonna like it, doesn't mean you're gonna, and they're not gonna dump everything that's from the past that's bothering you. It's a gradual process. It's a caring environment for you to come for healing. She said you have to date your therapist until you find the right person. Yeah. I think that is extremely important, that we don't just give up, that you try it one time, it didn't work for you. That's not for me, I'm not going to therapy. We need to get to a point where we understand that mental health is as needed as our regular physical health.
Vital. Yeah.
Let's see what I can share. If I have a good video so we can I'm sorry. Let's see if I can get a good video. Let's try this one. This one is since we talk about relationships, dancing will help your relationship. Do you see it?
Do you see it?
See it?
I don't see it. Mm-mm. No, I don't.
Don't?
Mm-mm.
Oh, this is a juicy one too. I think I have to share. You sharing, you see my.
It's not sharing now. It was sharing. I saw the folder.
How about now?
Yeah, I see it now.
You see it?
Yep.
Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah, this was our December class.
Saying Gouye. Maman Pata do have the Gouye.
Sees everything that I post.
This
Everything.
is awesome. I really, really enjoy you. This is we need to continue to talk like this, give mental health, give men a platform. And the fact that you show that it's, you know, with what you do to help heal our community, I think if a man is having a hard time connecting with their wives, to enroll in a class like this where you have to be in touch, body touching each other and holding each other and dancing with each other, can do wonders for relationships. But people has to be willing to do these things and put themselves out there and help themselves, because they're everywhere. I've seen Spanish classes in different places. If that's what you like, that's what you can do. But we need to treat each other like we actually like each other. And music will help you do that. To be there with people and so forth.
Yeah, I agree.
I stopped sharing. I stopped sharing, right?
Yeah. Stop sharing.
Okay. Let's see if there's another one. I think we've seen enough video to show the people that you are indeed a happy guy, although laid back today, but every day you get happy. Every day you make people smile. I
Yeah,
know
like
when
I'm
they
just like
come
this
around you.
mostly because I have a wedding later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
so
you're
like I'm pretty
preserving
just
your energy.
yeah. Like mentally, I'm preparing. I believe this is like 150 to 200 people. So like, I'm preparing myself for it. And I want to make sure, like, even after this, I have one more meeting, and then um, I gotta shoot straight up there. So I wanted to make sure, I'm dressed, ready to go, so I'm not late or anything like that. Because that also plays into a factor of like anxiety, right? You get huge anxiety when you're running late. So I don't want my energy to be tainted because I'm running late or anything like that.
That's awesome. Well, you have a lot going on. I appreciate you doing this with us today
No problem.
very,
I think
very much.
having me.
I know you're a busy man. Um, what is our takeaway? What is our takeaway? I think I had a slide that, let's see. Our takeaway, your mental health is just as important as your physical health.
Yep.
So take the time to take care of yourself. When you go to your doctor, get used to talking to your mental health with them.
Yeah.
What would you like to add to that so that I can let you go?
As far as for men, it's like my biggest thing is just like it's okay. Like it's sometimes we don't need as much as like women. We love y'all, we do, but majority of the times, us as men are very simple. We are very simple, and sometimes it's just like it's okay. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay that certain things fell through that you were really banking on and propelling yourself into a different level. it's okay to be sad that, certain things didn't work out or certain relationships didn't work out. It's okay. It's okay. Because in the world of them telling you it's not okay for you to feel these emotions, I'm here to tell you it's okay. Okay. And yeah,
The cushion for them,
that again.
to be the cushion for them to fall, a soft fall.
It's okay.
I agree. Now, how do I contact you?
Well, majority of the times people usually contact me via Instagram, and even on my Instagram, we have our email available too, both with KKM or Shaazaam Productions or anything like that. So if you see my page, you'll be able to see all of the different things that I'm affiliated with right in the bio. Um, I'm also on Facebook, so all of these names you can find on Facebook too. So it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram as well as Twitter. But I'm very responsive, so if you reach out to me via messaging or email, you'll definitely hear back from me as soon as I can, and that's usually like within the day, if not a couple seconds.
Awesome. So Instagram is at Shaazaam.
Hmm.
That's SHAAZAAM lower score,
Yeah,
right?
underscore. Yep.
Underscore. Would you like to give your email and phone number?
Um, Go ahead. It's email is sp
Mhm.
produce ERO.
SP produce. So
Mhm.
two P's.
Yeah, two piece. RO. Yep. Four, the number four, and the letter U at
That's
gmail.com.
gmail.com. How about your phone number?
I usually don't give out my phone number. It's like an actual client.
Okay.
So I
So
usually leave the social media or the email.
okay, so they can
Me talking
email you.
to
Social.
people as I talk to on a constant basis, um I try to filter like unnecessary conversations.
I see. That's smart. That's smart because people would call your phone number for no reason.
Yeah, and I don't have time.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. You do an exceptional job
Thank
for
you.
the community. You do an exceptional job trying to keep us all happy, spreading the Haitian culture all throughout the US. Hopefully one day you're gonna go worldwide. That's my dream for
We're
you.
working on it.
Thank you so
Sure.
much. The young people needs their culture, and coming from you, who's very young,
Yeah.
I think they're more open to receiving it. And you make
Yeah.
being Haitian so cool.
Oh man, that you're making me blush.
Thank you so much for your time. I
No
appreciate
problem.
you. If you
No
guys
problem. Thank
need
you.
to get in touch with her with Shaazaam through Instagram, email, Facebook, he's anywhere. If you do KKMD at KKMD class, KKM dance class,
Yeah.
you will find the website and you can get in touch with them. I appreciate you, brother. Continue taking care of yourself and others mentally.
So thank you for having this
Thank
space
you.
for us,
Thank you.
and thank you for all the things that you do as far as making sure that people come into themselves and are being more self-aware. I appreciate you for creating this space. And I honor you for it as well. And I thank you.
So much. And let's not even talk about the community service that you do for us in the community.
Oh
Every
man,
time we call on you, you there, professional, respectful. You are
thank,
awesome.
thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you. I
Problem.
love you.
I love you too.
Take care of
Have a
yourself.
great Sunday
Great
and
Sunday.
talk to you soon.
Go dance some more.
Right. Later.
All right. We'll talk soon. Thank you, everybody. That was a great show. We dance, we talk about this heavy stuff, and we do it all. I appreciate you participating on Facebook. I will go ahead and post it on our channel online. Please share. Please let's just spread the word. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to feel pain. Feel the pain. Don't stay in it too long, and take care of yourself. Get help if you need to. If it's getting too much for you, know your limits and deal with it, so that we don't continue to hurt the people we love. That's my mission in life. I love you. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk soon. We'll continue to have these wonderful talks. See you soon. Thank you. Happy Sunday.